everyone, and welcome to the Insight Exchange. Are you all puzzled as to why am I opening this session, or have you all guessed it already? So yes, I'm going to be your host today, and my guest is the host himself, Mr. Jatin Patil, and to me, my beloved Papa. So while yes, the key objective of this session was to test all the new equipments that he's picked up, the light, the mic, and everything. But I think, as we're doing this, we thought, let's make the most of it because, I always feel that, making the most of the time that we invest in any activity is great, right? So one of the topics that I've always admired with Papa is the fact, or, is his strength with language, more importantly with English. And that's what we are going to discuss today. So let's get started, right? So hello Papa and welcome. How do you feel firstly?
Very nice. I feel very nice that you have taken the initiative to do this podcast. Thank you so much.
Right. So first of all, let me start with wishing you all the best because this is your new, I think, a new activity that you picked up. I think
Yes.
you've never been scared or nothing has really stopped you from trying out new things. I wish a lot of success and luck as you take on this new wave also. You're trying to, I know that you've always tried to be young and you've
Yes.
taken up this whole podcast thing. So all the best for that.
Thanks.
So let's talk about the subject itself. So I think you've throughout, I have seen it for the last 30 years. For all your written work, whether it was essays or poetries or, even letters for that matter to some of the officials, the government, to CIDCO, whatever, and the essays that you wrote for me, all the work has always received prizes,
Yes.
right? And most of the times it was first, sometimes maybe second or third. So how did the journey begin? See, because, I want to be very open that we are Maharashtrians and at home, Marathi is our
Yes.
first language or our primary language.
Mhm.
So then how did you pick up such good English and vocabulary? How did you develop?
First of all, thank you, Sanjana, for having me here. The thing is that I was brought up in Mumbai, in Anushakti Nagar, where we had a very good school, Atomic Energy Center School. It was a central board, an English medium, and the medium was of very high standard.
Sure.
So the English and Hindi, both the languages were of very top level, and that's how my English. I had a flair for writing essays, copywriting, jingles, poetries, articles, etc. And that's how the journey started. And since the standard of English was very high there in that school, I had a habit of looking into the dictionary and looking for new words, synonymous words for common words. For example, for a letter, I used to use the word epistle. For
Right.
idea, I used to use notion.
Right.
So that's how I tried to use new words from the dictionaries
Sure.
and write my essays.
Right.
So during our time, we did not have Google or that Chat GPT AI or something like that.
Sure.
So we had to write on our own.
Correct.
So this was the only way to improve our English and our vocabulary.
Right. Right. Sure.
So the journey started like this.
Okay. Okay. I know that you also read a lot. So, are there any specific authors whom you can say that, sort of impacted your love for English or your
No,
language?
there are no fixed authors like, but I read motivational books, inspirational books, and some creative books on some creativity or something like that, because I have flair for creativity also.
Sure.
I've been doing theatre, Hindi one act plays for almost 10 years.
Right.
We had a group called Kala Darpan, and then I was selected for the copywriting workshop conducted by Advertising Agencies Association of India
Okay.
in the year 1986,
Okay.
and it was conducted by Jamil Gulrez, Mr. Jamil Gulrez and Mr. Larry Grant. They were
Sure.
the top ad gurus at that time.
Right. Right.
So being selected for that copywriting workshop itself was a great thing, because only 8 people out of all India were selected. So I was one of them, and Rahul Dekona, the son of Dekona Associates owner, he was also my batchmate that time.
Right. I think as you mentioned, Dikona Associates, I think they do all the marketing work for Amul.
Yes,
Is that
Amul.
right?
Yes, yes. The catchy slogans that every time they come up with. Earlier it was Dhabolkar, Mr. Dhabolkar. Now I think Mr. Rahul is handling that.
Sure, sure. Fantastic. I'm sure it would have been great to, have such an, I think, I would say an insightful cohort, because I think they had a vision of being into the field of copywriting
Yes.
right from that age. So I'm sure you would have had good fun. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with the copywriting course?
Copywriting at that time, nobody actually, even now, nobody is aware what copywriting is.
Right.
People think that you just have to copy something from somewhere. It is not like that. Copywriting is basically a field of advertising where you have to write the copy for the advertisement, the text, the jingles, the slogans. That is what the copywriting means. Right. So I was very much interested in artwork also.
Right.
So I loved making ads. My dream was to get into some ad agency, but it was very, very difficult. I gave interviews in Hindustan Thompson.
Sure.
And the big companies, ad agencies during that time.
Right.
But unfortunately, they say, na, you don't choose the job, the job chooses you. Sure. Sometimes. So because of the family, I had to take whatever job came to me. Sure. And it was the purchase department. Right. In the big companies. So right. I retired as a purchase manager. Sure. Where English was very, very much important for communication. Sure, sure. So I think recently there was an incident where you were struggling with some of your retirement benefits, and I think you wrote a note, and it was published. While you're laughing over it, can you? Do you want to talk about it? Yeah, it's because even after trying very hard, the EPFO department were not responding to my queries. Sure. So I wrote an open letter. Sure. On Facebook to the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, and Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis. The moment it went on that page of those officials, I think on the Facebook page, right? On the Facebook page, I got a call from the EPFO officials to come and look into it. Sure. So that's how that it got resolved. Right. Because there was a difference in my name in the EPFO and my Aadhaar card. Sure. So that got resolved after that. Sure. So what is your thought process, when you write such compelling letters that really get, that get noticed and to this level, what is your thought process? What are, if you were to give a tip to somebody who is trying to learn this skill, what are some things that you keep in mind while you're writing anything? No, when you are communicating with somebody, the matter should be clear. It should be precise. Sure. You should not beat around the bush. Sure. You should hit the target. The person who is reading it should understand what the content is. Sure. So it should be like a kiss. Keep it short and sweet. Okay. I think that's an acronym that's going to stay with us, right? So yeah, great. And let's talk a little bit about the informal writing or the fun part, maybe the creative part. As I think you mentioned a couple of times that you're a very creative person also. So how do you write a love letter differently? Maybe let me ask you that question. That comes from the heart. So whatever you write from heart, right, that is generally a love letter. Okay. Yeah, I think he's just keeping it very short now. I don't know if that is sort of withered out with the age or with the days. The love letter means it is a state of heart correspondence. Sure. State of heart correspondence is a love letter. Sure. According to me. Okay. We'll have to meet him one-on-one to maybe ask him how to translate that on WhatsApp messages or Snapchat snaps, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so I think on that note, since we want to keep this short, let's wind it up. Since I work quite a lot with professionals across different age groups and across industries on language training and other things, just some quick tips with all the new age facilities or all the new age advantages that we have for us.
how do you start learning a language, or how do you get better with it? I think both hard and smart work go into it. So today we have apps like a Duolingo, which allow you to practice everything, right from speaking, reading to writing. So maybe you all may want to try that. And Duolingo allows you to practice multiple languages. So across the world, it has a lot of languages. So whether it is Hindi, English, Spanish, German, whatever. So that's an app that can be a go-to. I think if you're learning a different language, a new language altogether, which we typically don't use, I think start with the basics. Start with understanding the letters, numbers. Start with alphabets, letters, numbers, days of the week, and so on. Like, you literally have to go back to your nursery days. And if you're trying to learn a different language, a foreign language, that's the way to go. And the last thing, how can I not mention this, is the change that AI is bringing in, right? One tip that I most definitely want to, because this is something that I've experienced quite a lot. I've seen people in organizations, students, everyone simply copy paste stuff from AI. Do not do that, right? Keep it, I think, we are the human beings, and it's our material at the end of it. So I think we must keep it real. Even if you're asking questions to AI, always read it, reread it, see if it really fits, or the response really fits to the question that you asked, and only then share it, or only then publish it. Do not randomly copy paste it, right? Credits again are very important. If you all are doing any kind of academic work, or if you all are trying to post your material, especially articles or anything on public forums or websites or anything like that, always ensure that you're giving the right kind of credits. Because what AI does is it sort of brings material from the internet together. If you're simply copy pasting, you may put yourself in a fuss someday. So just to avoid that, ensure that the right credits are given to the right authors from time to time. On that note, I think we close this, and let's wait to see how our test podcast comes out to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sanjana.